You've reached the Union of Metro Street podcast, where we discuss the San Diego music scene of the late 80s and all of the 90s, from the shows we worked to the shows we played. Here we go.
All right, so that was Bucko 9, and we are here with Craig Yarnold. And what album's that from?
That's from 28 Teeth.
Oh, okay.
One of the first albums I got thanked on, actually.
Oh, nice. Well, how you doing, Craig?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
how about you?
Been on. I'm hanging in there. You know,
nice
when it's not raining, I'm mowing lawns.
Yeah.
But as we were talking about earlier, it's been since October since we've been able to record any. So stoked to have you in. And
of course, he was in here with Jay from the Suicide Machine.
Yeah.
Yep. I was on the couch for that one.
Yeah. Isn't that another podcast, On the Couch?
Well, yeah, with Sulo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
The King's Couch or something like that, right?
Yeah. But
shout out to Sulo.
Yeah. But everything good in the life, you know?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Cruising along, working, and we're still, as far as the band's concerned, we're still putting the finishing touches on the new album.
Oh, okay.
So
what's the scheduled release for that?
There is none yet. We still have to finish recording horns and vocals.
Okay.
Because we recorded the whole thing last summer, finished, but we weren't happy with the way it came out, so we started from scratch and
okay.
redid all the tracking. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Doing it the same place or?
No, we're doing out in Vegas at this. I can't remember the name of the place right now, but it's a studio near where our Tony, our trumpet player, lives.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a rehearsal room and facility and a studio next door to it. So we've done most of the tracking's been done there.
Oh, okay.
So far, the drums and horns and vocals will be done there too. So it sounds really good so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who's producing it? Are you guys just doing it or?
Yeah.
Tony's producing
cool.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. In fact, Dan and I were just out there a few weeks ago working on the horns with Tony, just getting everything finalized for what we want to play because we made a few changes and stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this has been a 4-year process to write and record this album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And basically, so like you're saying, just vocals will be left.
Yeah, vocals, backups, and horns. Yeah, so we'll hopefully get that done pretty soon, next couple months.
Takes a little bit longer than when you were younger, eh?
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody's spread apart, so it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's meet up around the corner. Yeah.
I know that's the thing that I'm running into. I mean, we've been working on this Left Outs project for, God, I don't even know now. I mean, the name's been bounced around. My wife came up with the name and we were using it, but then, God, we've actually gone through a bunch of members. It's funny how, I mean, we were talking about earlier about getting older and not being able to skate as much and just, you know, life is slowed down because we get hurt easier.
Yeah. Aches and pains and injuries on top of it don't heal as fast as they used to.
Yeah. What about
If at all.
songwriting? you find it the older that you get, songwriting comes easier, or
It depends. I mean, we're lucky because Jonas is like an endless fountain of song ideas because he just always plays guitar.
Yeah.
And he's always writing. So he's got enough ideas to keep us going indefinitely. So then it's just about taking those and building on them. It's, I think for this one, it had been 4 years since the previous one when we started writing this in end of 2019 going into 2020. So when the pandemic and the lockdown hit, we were just writing songs like every week. We were demoing stuff, new songs.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it was like, that was all there was to do. It kind of kept us sane because it gave us something to focus on.
Yeah.
And so it depends on the situation, but when the music's there and you feel it, it's not difficult to be creative, you know,
And get back
most
into
of the time. Yeah.
I'm finding that the older that I am, I mean, I'm not writing as aggressive of stuff. I've actually mellowed out a lot, but I find the older now, I kind of approach it differently, and it seems to be making the songwriting easier.
Yeah, you think it should be with the experience you get, you know,
Right.
just knowing
Right.
the process of putting a song together, and
Especially with you guys. When did Buck 09 start? We'll do a deep dive because I got to get the history.
And obviously, you're the one that kind of got the whole thing going.
I mean, initially it was our original bass player, Scott Kennerly. He was the one who started the band after he saw Skank and Pickle play somewhere. He was like, I want to do something like that. And so he put the initial ads out in the reader, but Steve and I were the first to come along shortly after that. Steve went to a rehearsal and I heard the practice tape when Steve and I were hanging out one night because we've known each other since high school. And I was like, oh, I want to jump on that too.
Yeah.
So I went to the next rehearsal and stuck around from there.
And what year was that?
We always argue whether it was 91 or 92. I think this was the end of 91 when the early incarnations were happening. Like, because I remember it being around Halloween time for some reason. And that was the very first rehearsals before we even had the name. You know,
Oh, okay.
but the official kind of start is 92 when we actually solidified the lineup with Jonas on guitar and Pebsworth on vocals, and we added Dan and Tony to the horn section. So,
Okay.
And then, yeah, we kind of consider it 92 because that's when it was like what became the recording and touring lineup.
Right.
basically.
Inception in 91, but birth 92.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy thinking how far back. So then how long before you guys ended up playing? Did you play? Well, let me ask it this way. What was your first gig? And What year was that? 92?
I'd see this. I don't remember. I think it was early 92. We had a different singer, different guitar player, and I was the only horn player at the time. And the first gig ever, public performance, it wasn't even a backyard party. We played at the Spirit Club opening for the Boss Tones.
Oh, wow.
And we got on that luckily because I saw the ad in the reader for the show and I called them up, not knowing how it all works. Hey, I've got a ska band. Can we play? And they're like, oh, well, no. I mean, because obviously that stuff's been booked weeks ahead of time, if not months ahead of time. But then someone in one of the bands dropped out because someone broke their arm or something like that. So they contacted us and said, you guys want to open up the show? And we got up on stage and had no business playing in front of the public yet.
Right.
We did our best and sucked but we got to see the Boston's play. So
yeah,
it was worth it.
But then, that's like cutting the teeth and then you get it out of the way. And
yeah. And we played a couple parties, backyard parties. We played a couple, one or two parties with the band I was in before, Spy Kids, where we both played on someone's driveway up in Vista, and the cops showed up and broke it up and all that.
Right.
So at that time, were you the only person in the band that actually played other shows live, or did anybody else have? Well, actually,
yeah,
Dan and Tony were in Thierry Dread, right?
Yeah, they'd played with Thierry Dread, and I think a band called Red Alert. Maybe I think that was Damien.
From
Daddy Longlegs.
Daddy Longlegs, yeah.
I think he had some kind of reggae thing before that. I think they had collaborated with him on that, but they were in Thierry Dread before Buck 09, and still,
hop in there every once in a while.
Yeah, play with them once in a while, and I do now too sometimes.
And Pebs was in, because we told this story, was in Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
Because he got the gig over me. Because I tried out for that band.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was, I don't know if he was still in that band when he first joined, but I remember seeing some video of them playing like at Grossmont College in the quad. Yeah. And I think he had been in Sprung Monkey briefly as well.
Oh, okay.
Because his friend Pat King, they had moved down to San Diego together.
Yeah.
And they had been in Labeled Victims up there. They were a punk band in high school. So they had played shows and parties up in LA. And Steve had played Steve and I had played in a couple garage bands, ska, and then he had played in some other punk stuff that I think just played parties. And then it was Scott's first, I think his first band ever.
Wow.
But yeah, the others of us had some experience playing clubs and stuff.
Right. We'll get into that. I want to get into how you even got into music and all that, but let's stick with what's going on. So 92, when did you guys start thinking about putting out a record?
An actual record, not until 94, because we wanted to get a booking agent and we were told no booking agent's going to work with you unless you have a CD.
Right.
So we're like, okay. So we just pooled our money together and went to Double Time and recorded the first album. Before that, we had put out a demo tape, and we put out a 7-inch on Silver Girl Records, and they had done some local stuff. And they're kind of had a resurgence lately. I think they're re-releasing stuff. But
oh, cool.
And we had been on like a compilation or two, maybe. But yeah, so the album came out 94. We did the album release show at Soma, and then got an offer to go on a tour like a couple days later. So a week later, we were scrambling to buy a van and a trailer and hit the road. And
who was the tour with?
That was with Gangster Fun and MU330. It was this Skamageddon tour from the Skamageddon compilation that was an Asian man that put it out. And a band had dropped off. So we got the opening slot on that, and that was our first full U.S. tour.
So Gangster Fun taught you guys how to tour.
Yeah, them and MU330. Yeah, we learned slowly from watching them how to conduct ourselves, and because the very first show we played was a Sunday night up in Corona at the Showcase, where we had played many weekend gigs, with fun bands, and it was like Soma North.
Yeah,
and then we're playing on a Sunday night, and there's like 20 people there.
Yeah.
And because I don't think many people knew who the other bands were or whatever. And I think Let's Go Bowling was playing at UC Riverside the same night. And and we were just all bummed, oh, this sucks. What do we do? And then we watched the other bands get up and just do their thing. And we're like, how can they act like this is okay? And
Right.
like, that's showbiz. You get up and do it, whether there's
Yeah.
20 people or 2,000, you just get up and do your show and you're getting paid or whatever. And the people are there paid to see you. So
Right.
don't stand with your head and you're, looking down
Yeah.
and do it. So yeah, we learned a lot, on those early tours about what to do and what not to do.
Was it all about scraping money or to get food and gas and all that? I mean, back
Yeah.
then it was a lot cheaper, but
Yeah. But yeah, it was money was always tight back then.
Especially with 7 guys in the band.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because you got more mouths to feed and, everything else is the same, the gas money, but you got more mouths to feed, more guys that need a place to sleep, and the first tour, we didn't understand that you just have to go and ask if anyone's got a place you can crash, you
Yeah.
know, and then you save money and then you kind of learn that and you go, oh yeah, there's a guy in Lawrence, Kansas, and that's where all the bands stay, or some place like that.
Yeah.
And then you meet these people. And at first we go, no, we're okay. Cause we were a little like, I don't know. We don't know anyone.
Stranger's house.
Yeah. And
Come
then
into my
yeah.
house.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You
then
definitely never know.
a year later, you're just like, we'll sleep anywhere. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we're bringing freaking tents.
Yeah.
And someone's sleeping in the van with the equipment.
Yep. We did on the first tour. We did sleep on the beach once. We got to Ocean City, Maryland, and we couldn't get into a motel. So we just slept on the beach and we woke up and the tide was coming in and people
Yeah.
staring at us like all these kids around, like we looked like bums sleeping on the beach.
Well, who was it that used to come down? They were a big Everclear or someone used to, it was a 3-piece band. They played the Casbah, and I thought you were there, Jerry, but Jay from Spaz Boy. And the singer's like, yeah, I love coming down here because we'll play the Casbah. They were a bigger band at this time, and they could, get a
It was
hotel.
probably Everclear. That
And
was
he's like,
that was
yeah.
probably Art talking.
He's like, yeah, we just go to OB. We go to Dog Beach, and we sleep at the beach.
Oh, wow. That's brave.
And I was like, yeah. I mean, I had spent one night there watching the sunset. Well, you're looking at the ocean, the sun's rising behind you. But it was, I'm from OB, so it's really cool. But it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear the horror stories of like Black Flag and get in the van and all that. But I think a lot of people, younger people, don't realize it was rough. And then,
Yeah.
here you are going out on the road for the first time. There's no handbook.
Yeah. So you just kind of take it as it comes. No, nothing ever goes according to plan. I remember sleeping at a rest stop in Nebraska somewhere. We just like laid down and rested on top of the picnic tables once because we just couldn't drive anymore,
Yeah.
or we pulled our first time to Chicago. We couldn't find this place we were going to stay. And like, we saw people getting out of cars and pulling other people out of their cars and beating the shit out of them. And we're like, let's get the hell out of here. So we headed for the suburbs and, found like a Walmart parking lot or a hotel, like a Holiday Inn,
Right.
where there's a big parking lot, just pull in and no one knows you're there.
And nothing
Yeah.
and nothing still comes to plan either because we've had to change stuff on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then it was, you never knew what it was going to be.
We just didn't have the technology back then.
Yeah. And
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, because there's no cell phones. I mean, maybe a pager, but that's
maybe a couple years in. Yeah.
if someone.
Pay phones everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
advancing
no
shows.
GPS. None
No.
of that stuff.
It was a big Rand McNally Road Atlas, and
Yep.
I would go to AAA and get those triptych booklets. I'd just give them a whole itinerary, 6-week tour, and they would tell me to come back in a few hours, and they'd make those flip book triptychs that just highlight every page as like a certain mileage. And then later on it was MapQuest. You'd print out all the MapQuest directions for a whole run.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of times that would be wrong because like streets would change their names and
or on the
Oh,
map
yeah.
it looks good, and then you're on a dirt road driving through farmland in the middle of Iowa, and you're like, "Whoops, it looked like a shortcut,"
Yeah. Yeah. And then you see some farmer sitting on his tractor staring at you going, well, those boys look lost.
Yeah, you're not from around these parts, are you?
exactly.
Did you ever have any like panic or, any anxiety at all I mean, being younger, a 6-pack can cure a lot of anxiety, but
Yeah.
was there any anxiety with the band or any turmoil or anything that made it like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Oh yeah, I think especially early on. I mean, because you're seeing weather that you're not used to, like traveling across
true.
Texas and the Midwest. Like the rain hits differently, or you're dealing
Tornadoes,
snow. Yeah, the threat of tornadoes in Florida, or I mean, I can't really remember anything specific except when we got in an accident, but that was years later. We spun out, and that was pretty scary. But yeah, it's just that. This is all new territory. I've never been to this state, never been here.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get to the next venue on time and get loaded in. And, you're getting to the city is half the battle. Then you got to find your way around the city and find out where this club is. Cause back then the club's usually in the sketchiest part of town.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh man, like
industrial parks.
What are we doing?
The other problem touring is lack of sleep. That's the other.
Yeah.
Especially whoever's driving.
Yeah, you're always sleep deprived, and then when you are sleeping, you're sleeping in a van.
Yeah,
it's bouncing along the freeway.
And then you add in alcohol or weed or some bands the drug part.
Right.
Like there's an infamous story of when Flipper showed up, and Len wanted me to go up and play bass for him, and I'm like, I don't know their freaking songs, and even someone in the band's like, it doesn't matter, you'll figure it out. But the addictions when you're on the road, especially when you get older, those start becoming an issue. But did you guys ever have any those problems or? No,
I mean, we like to drink beer and whatnot. That's
they like to close the bar.
Yeah. But in the early days, that was the other lesson. I mean, we'd be like, let's go get beer. And then we'd like, oh, I'm out of money. Like I don't go, I don't go to bars every night and, and at home. And so we didn't have the money to really, to afford much. So if you're relying on whatever the club provided, drink tickets or a 12-pack or whatever it was,
right.
But yeah, as you get more established, then, and you start having a little bit more, you have like the riders and all that kind of stuff. Then and you can slip into that if you're not careful, Plus, you're bored out of your mind 20 hours out of the day. Because you're just driving, and then you get to the place and you sit around and wait. If you're lucky, you're in a cool place. You could walk around town, check some stuff out.
Yeah.
So
find a Taco Bell and
a lot of boredom, for sure. I'm sure we're not the only band that would say that, but it's that 1 hour of excitement on stage that you're going for. But
that's, some people kind of talk about it, and especially for those, I think a lot of the younger people don't realize you have to get to the point where you get some of the luxuries of, when you show up in town, there might be a couple people already there. If you get a sound check, that occupies that amount of time. Or you have a club like, we did. We want everyone early, so you show up, or someone shows up with all the equipment early, kind of get situated, and then people can trickle in later.
Yeah.
But each club kind of has their own thing that they do to make operations run.
Right.
And it's a lot of sit and wait. And like I said, if you have a sound check, then you can do something to get kind of warmed up. Otherwise,
hurry up and wait,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we got to get there at 5:00. That's what we advanced. You show up, they don't open the doors till 6. No one shows up. You're sitting out there. Where is everyone? Where's the sound guy? And then there was a lot of that in those days. But now it's nice because they have these automated soundboards where, they program it in on an iPad and you do your sound check and then they save those levels. But back then you'd show up and the guy's like doing your sound check, but not marking the levels on a piece of masking tape. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but, marking the levels for all the mics. So when you come on 2 hours later and another band's played, you can put them right back. And you learn these things as you go along. Like, oh, it sounded good at sound check. Now it sounds like shit. Can turn this up, turn that up. In a lot of ways, technology has helped a lot because a lot of places have the LED lights now, so it's not as hot on stage. You're not getting fried by like a heat lamp.
Yep.
And so some of those technology advancements are really nice to see. But
And a lot of no smoking in the venues as well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which helps too.
Yeah.
Some even have air conditioning.
Yeah. Some of them. They all say it's on or it's broken that day.
But yeah, those are some of the horrors that, well, yeah, one with the air condition and then the lights. I mean, you're on stage and you're just cooking. And then, back in the early days with all the smoke, especially at some of the shows that we would have, the reggae shows,
Oh, yeah.
the entire thing, it's just, a London fog of pot smoke.
Yeah. Contact high for everyone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh, it was so miserable. But yeah, another thing too, now that I think about it, is when you show up at a venue and you do get a sound check, the room's empty. And then people come in and you can hear yourself, but some places wouldn't have monitors.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time people come in and fill up the room, then all the levels change and the guy is sitting there, trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And you can't hear anything on stage. So you have to be focused and know your music well enough to not have monitors.
Yeah. That's where that playing X number of, play 100 gigs or whatever. There's a number out there people float, it's that idea of you do something a certain amount of time to master
10,000 hours or
yeah, that kind of
like.
Yeah. What you realize the difference between, oh yeah, we've played shows around town, we've gone to LA a couple times versus, oh, we just did 13 nights in a row on the road and then, we did 6 weeks and then you come back and you get to a different level of tightness, I suppose. And we used to, kind of run on not autopilot, but it becomes more automatic.
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the longer you're on the road. It's funny too, like when we're out touring, like 1 week you're still adjusting.
Yeah.
And the second week you're like, all right, we got this down, we're flowing. And then all of a sudden the tour's over and it's like, I finally got adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we hear, I remember we used to always hear that, oh, wait till the room fills in, it'll sound better. We used to get that at a lot of places. Like, okay, sure.
That and also, oh no, we're getting everything on the rider. It'll be here. He's a little late.
Yeah.
And then after the gig, it's like you're going to get paid, and oh well, we got pizza.
Yeah.
That was,
we would get that. We got a couple pizzas for you guys, and we're like, okay. And if you weren't there when the pizza arrived, you were lucky to get one slice because everyone just dived in.
Oh yeah.
And you're like,
Or
where's
when
ours?
Or when the venue gives you their food, and a lot of times it's really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want it.
We try to get buyouts. Can you give us $10 a head instead of whatever your kitchen serves? Cause
oh yeah, bar kitchen.
Here's some fries with some chili on it. There's your dinner.
Never mind the little brown thing. Those things are crunchy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's venues that have really good food, but there's a lot of them. That a lot of them are like crappy bowling alley food.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Some regions too, like I remember playing this place in Atlanta and they had really good like gumbo and stuff like that,
Oh.
But back then, at least if you take the money, you can buy a pack of smokes if you want. You don't have to eat the food if that's what you choose to do, or you can go buy a burrito at 7-Eleven, pocket the other $7 or whatever.
Yeah.
So some people take that approach where they come back, with $200 cash because they just saved all their money. They didn't blow it.
Yeah.
On stupid things, but.
Yeah, and then, another thing I was just talking to someone recently about is the merch. When you have the merch, well, it depends. Now I heard it's just how much venues will take, but because it's become more corporate.
Yeah.
But when you're on the road, if you have a good amount of merch, that kind of supplements when you don't get paid.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you have a really good night, sell a bunch of merch and you're like, all right, we're going to get a hotel room so everyone can take a shower.
Right. Yeah.
Or do laundry in the sink, Rollins style. Your socks and unders in the sink, and then hang them up in the because you have a hotel room.
Yeah.
And you can turn on the heater to help dry them out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We would pack 7 or 8 people into a Motel 6 room.
Yeah.
And just sleep on the floor and 2 to a bed. And
to be a rock star.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are all
extra towels from the staff, and
we still pack 4 people to a room.
Yeah. Yeah. We would tell them, how many people? 4. Meanwhile, you're sneaking 4 more in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you want extra towels?
Yeah. I don't know. Just need them.
Dirty.
Or you just find a maid cart and
Still the towels.
And a roll of toilet paper, because you always got to have an extra one in the van,
Yeah.
because you never know. And a bucket is sometimes handy, 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah. And empty Gatorade bottles and things.
Yep.
In case like one night we were following another band to a farmhouse in Kansas, outside of Manhattan, Kansas, I think, that a relative owned, but it was empty. And they were like, you guys can stay there. So they said, hey, we can all stay in this big farmhouse. And we were driving. We couldn't stop to take a piss, because if we lost them, we'd be stuck we're in the middle of nowhere, like Kansas
Farm country.
Yeah. So we just kept going. Guys just had to pee in Gatorade bottles. I think someone opened the back window of the van and was like taking a leak out the back window, the little pop out window. Like It probably got all over the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are all the things you got to learn as you're, getting out there. And it's for the music. But then when you get home, did you ever get the anxiety of, even though you might have had like a rough tour or whatever, but you want to get it back out there because you want to play again?
Sometimes, because when you're at a certain point, that's how you're trying to earn a living, and although I don't think we were as hungry as some of the other bands, because coming home to San Diego was always such a nice thing to be able to do.
Right.
We'd go, especially early on, we'd go to so many places and we were like, oh God, I wouldn't want to live here, And if you're touring with some bands that are from some of those towns, they can't wait to leave. They want to ticket out and they're happy to be on the road. And I think that's maybe a slight edge that some people have. You got to be hungry to do it, close to 300 days a year if you really want to make it work.
Yeah.
I don't know about now, but it depends on who you are and what your status is, but you definitely, it definitely changed. Like you become resourceful, and you kind of like, sometimes you feel like you're lowering yourself, like, to a different level of humanity, because you're just like you said, like take the Kleenex out of the motel. Oh, take these sugar packets off the table. We'll use them later,
Instant coffee and
take everything.
It's just survival.
Yeah.
And did you guys all have like side jobs, or like a part-time job that you could just leave and quit, or?
Most of us did. Yeah. I don't know if everyone did, but most of us had some kind of part-time job that they could come and go to. Yeah.
That makes it easier. It's hard to have a career and a band as a career.
Yeah.
You have to supplement one, or, to find the balance. But when you're younger, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. You're much more flexible, and you're probably not at that stage of a career where you're like, you have to make that choice,
Right.
Well, at that time, the band was the career.
Yeah. And we were so motivated to take it to that, we wanted, from the early days of putting the lineup together, I think the core of us knew what we wanted to do with it was get out there and thankfully through playing Soma, we got to open up for a lot of these bands that we looked up to in our general genre, like Boss Tones, Bad Manners,
the Specials,
Specials, Skate and Pickle, and others I can't think of right now, but as well as punk bands, we got to open for Green Day, and seeing that, we were and getting to, you get to rub elbows with
what's
people.
crazy was No Doubt open for you guys.
Yeah. Right. Before they were super huge. Yeah. We got that a few times down there at the Metro location.
Yeah.
You guys would.
No, was that the Marina one?
It was probably both Union and Metro.
Yeah.
Metro. Yeah.
And then we would do the summer slams, and then
because you guys would sell out Metro every time you guys played.
Yeah.
Even did those Scottish Rite shows.
Yep. I remember that with like Sprung Monkey, and can't remember who else was on that.
I think Green Day did
Ghoul
one
Spoon.
of them. Yeah. Ghoul Spoon.
Yeah.
Ghoul who?
But playing that venue, especially on the main stage, that gave you that confidence to get on a big stage, play in front of a large audience.
Right.
And then you learn how to do it at that level versus small, like the Dungeon shows or smaller clubs like the Casbah or Soul Kitchen or whatever.
Right.
Great venues too, but you get that, oh, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's a real like carrot on a stick. You're like, let's do this everywhere. And that's what
gave you guys a goal.
Yeah. And we thought, oh, we're going to do this everywhere. Like easy. We're going to go. We already had some success in, Orange County, LA. And we just assumed everywhere we went, it was just going to be like Soma, boom, no problem.
Yeah.
And don't forget the
not as easy as it looked.
Don't forget the New Year's Eve shows. Those were the big ones.
Yeah. Those.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is a big one. I think we capped out at 6,000.
7.
It was 7.
Yep.
Wow.
7,000 people at the sports arena.
Yeah. I mean, at that time, that's sure the biggest audience we'd ever played in front of.
Shoot, at that time, talking to the Descendants, that was their biggest show.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Wow.
That's the most people I ever made a fart noise in front of. I'll tell you that much.
On the mic?
Yeah, I did that for when Fluff played, and I was messing with O for whatever reason, so I just did a couple farts and something. But I mean, looking at that audience, it's weird because the main stage, Union was one thing, and I don't think I don't think I ever announced any bands there, but I did play the stage when we opened up for Fear. But by Metro, going up and announcing bands and all that, I hated doing it. It's like, no, Len, you do that. But then when he's like, you're going to do one stage and you're going to run that, he was going to run the other one. So I had to go up and announce the bands. I just went up and it just kind of seemed like a blur. Like, all right, this is just like Metro, just with another 6,000 people or 5,500 people. And I didn't have a nervous sort of any anxiety about doing that because it was basically, like a Metro.
Yeah.
Because everyone was, really tight knit at that point. We were, it became like a family.
And not only that, the crowd, the vibe was always good. If you think about it,
right. It was always a very home team advantage kind of vibe,
which helped a lot and helped produce the amount of bands that, how many bands came out of San Diego is crazy. But before we get into that, because I want to get into overseas touring and all that, what got you inspired to even pick up an instrument, and what age and what was the first instrument?
First instrument was clarinet when I was like 5th grade, I believe.
Okay.
And I played that basically for 5 years, school band, marching band. And then I put it down after my sophomore year. And about when I was 18, 19, I started picking it up again, and I was just playing along to Fishbone and the Pogues and anything that had horns in it. Yeah. English beat, stuff that I liked. I started playing along in my bathroom. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then Steve told me he was joining a band. They were starting a band, a ska band. And I jokingly said, well, hey, if they need a clarinet player, tell them, of course not. But the guy who ended up being the singer said, oh, I have an alto you can use, and the fingering's the same. And if you can play clarinet, you can play the alto. I was like, really? So he let me borrow this alto sax, and I took it home and started playing, and that was it. I was, that's all I wanted to do after that. Playing, I kept playing along to, Madness, One Step Beyond, trying to learn all that stuff, and then just getting in there from that point on, I was about 19. It was just one band after another. I never, the first band played a party and then broke up. The next one never got out of the rehearsal room. The next couple things I did never made it out of the practice room or the bedroom or wherever we were jamming, right. And then we had some interesting experiences. At one point, Scott Russo and I were in a band before Spy Kids, and then I was in a band with some guys who used to be in Gangbusters, and Mitch from No Knife was our bass player when he was still in Funeral March, and he had long hair.
Oh, wow.
We were just jamming all this ska and playing like ska versions of Misfits songs, like London Dungeon and stuff, and some songs from our guitar player's old band and our singer's old band in high school, Multiple Choice. There was a Torrey Pines ska band that was in the mid-'80s, and we were just about ready to get out there and probably play some shows. But then that fizzled out. But as that fizzled out, Spy Kids started. And then as that was kind of fizzling out, Bucko Nine was starting. So it was kind of always something coming and going, which was good.
But that's a lot right there that could, distract you and be like, no, I'm going to go and chase girls or whatever.
Yeah.
with starting and stopping. But obviously you had the bug and you're like, yeah, this is me.
Yeah. To the detriment of relationships, because, some of the girlfriends were like, oh, your band's more important than me. All you want to do is hang out with the band, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, yeah, you think we're just drinking beer and hanging out, but we're actually, working towards a goal,
Yeah.
And,
what came first, the girlfriend or the band?
the band usually. I mean, yeah, you have to, it sounds cliche, but you end up sacrificing certain things.
Oh, yeah.
to do that.
I mean, people do that all the time with jobs or, being in the military, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's when you're younger. When you're older, it's different because
Everything's slowed down.
yeah, and people understand. But when you're first trying to get, people just think, oh, you and your stupid band,
Yeah. Yeah. I got that with my skateboard.
But think
that
about
too.
it. If you stuck with the girlfriend, you wouldn't have traveled the world playing in
Right.
the band.
Right.
So you got to go places that most people don't get to go to.
Yeah. And through that whole time, I had never been kicked out of a band, but I had definitely been dumped by a girl or two. So I was like, well, the band's not going to break up with me. So.
Yep.
So you never had any aspirations for college or anything, or?
Yeah, I was going to college.
Okay.
When all this started, which is another thing that fell by the wayside because, studying I was going to UCSD for a while and I wasn't studying very hard. And then I went back to junior college and I actually transferred to Cal State San Marcos, did a semester there. And then the beginning of the fall semester, or right before that started, was when we did that first tour after the Songs in the Key of Bree CD release at Soma. So I withdrew and got my money back and then, put school on hold. I was like, that can wait. This can't. This is like, now's the time. We'll strike while the iron's warming up, basically.
Yeah. And that basically was just warming up because, I mean, you got quite a story at this point. You're still playing.
Yeah.
You're still making music. And like you said, you're working on a new record.
Yeah.
Just taking a little bit longer because, well, why not? I mean, when you have the history and you have the catalog that you have and you still have the respect, and that's with, for one, COVID just kind of slapped everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were lucky to take advantage of that. Like we were talking about before we started recording, is that we were just writing songs and passing around MP3s of demos to each other. And, I would get the track and add some horns to it, send that off. And, John would add his vocals and we had the whole album written by the end of 2020. We had 21 songs.
Wow.
And then we pared it back because, with the vinyl thinking now, it's like, you can only put what's going to fit on a vinyl record.
Right.
Not in the old days where you just slapped as many songs as you wanted on a CD,
Yeah, I know, huh? You could do a double album.
12 songs on a vinyl?
Yeah, depending on time, right? It's like, what do you got, 20 some minutes each side that you can fit?
25 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Unless you're DRI and you put 21 songs and it's actually
45 seconds long.
30. Yeah. Yeah. Songwriting wise, when you're doing all that, did you guys do any Zoom to try to get everyone in the same room or any of that sort of stuff?
Not for the songwriting that I remember. We did a COVID video shoot for, what was it for? I think it was, I can't remember what it was for at the moment, but we did a COVID kind of video shoot where people filmed themselves in their rooms.
I can't remember what song it is either, but I remember the video.
I don't remember if it was a new one.
Because I heard Dan was like working out.
Yeah, he came over to my house and sat on my exercise bike and played his trombone.
It's funny.
It escapes me. But yeah, so no, we just lots of time on the phone.
Yeah.
Chit-chat, because back then there was nothing to do except stay at home and try not to get COVID.
Yeah.
And you guys put out a good album.
Yeah.
Fundamentals, great album.
Well, that one came out before. That was 2017, 18.
Oh, you guys were actually writing that before? I thought that was during COVID too.
No, that was already out. That was
just the new one was what it was. Okay.
Yeah. And we had the one song that went on that Ska Against Racism comp that they put out, that Bad Time Records put out during the whole thing. It was a Black Lives Matter type of thing. Mm-hmm. And we had a song pretty much ready to go. And so we offered that for that compilation. So that's one newer thing that's actually been released.
Oh, okay.
Out of the whole batch, of new songs. So.
Okay.
But actually, I was going to ask, so you're saying like you guys did 21 songs. Are some of those songs coming over to the new album?
I don't know. I mean, right now we've got the 14 that are going to be on this one, and then we might go back and revisit more if and when another one gets put in the works. We're just trying to get this one done at this point. Luckily, the label's been patient with us, so they're just like, yeah, take your time, just get it done right. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So they're not just willing to put out garbage, so just to have something out, a tax write-off sort of thing.
Yeah, because we tried to fix the original recordings that we had. We tried to, convince ourselves that it would be okay, and it sounded kind of raw and stuff. But in the end, there were too many technical problems that prevented getting a proper mix.
Oh yeah,
proper. There was bleed and things. Technical problems that just kind of slipped through the cracks.
It wasn't polished.
Yeah. And
so who's the label? Because I mean, that's actually for a label. That's really cool that they're willing to work with you.
Yeah, it's Cleopatra.
Oh, okay.
LA. Yeah, I mean, they put out all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. They're legendary.
Yeah,
that's
lots
awesome.
of legacy stuff too. Yeah.
Did they put you guys out on tour, or do you book that on your own?
We do that on our own. Yeah, with our booking agent. Yeah, they just basically pay for the record production, and the manufacturing of the vinyl, and they do some promotion. They do the streaming stuff too. They're really good at putting all that together so it all comes out at the same time and people can get it.
And you have full artistic license with them?
Yeah. I mean, they basically, I mean, we've kind of done like, we did the first contract we did was for an album, a live album, and an option for a second album. But then during COVID, no one realized that the option had expired for the second record.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was after that, because in 2021 we actually did the live album. We did it in the studio live, but all kind of recorded live for the most part, because we were trying to do a live album at a club.
Right.
Just could never get it to happen.
Which we went to that. Remember?
That was the
that's when they were recording that at that studio.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was that time. Yeah. Down at Earthling.
Yeah.
We were going to do it at the Viper Room, but then that fell through. We were going to do it live at another club somewhere.
What was the reason at the Viper Room? Just the sound didn't sound good?
No, they had really good sound there, but I think the club got sold.
I was actually recording. I was the one hitting the recorder for doing that show at the Viper Room.
Oh, well, we wanted to get in there, but they sold. New owners came in and they got rid of all the equipment that they used to record bands.
Okay, from the board.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever they used to do.
Because Maratoni had bought like some kind of multi-mic type thing, and I was using.
Yeah,
I was hitting that when you guys would go on, and then stop it when the set was over.
Yeah, but they have a really good sound in the club, or they did. I mean, it's
still there.
Yeah,
Viper Room's still going. Because it was supposed to close last year. Actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
they were going to tear that building down.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard something about that.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to build a hotel or something there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, trying to get rid of landmarks. So they won that one, at least for now.
For now.
Yeah.
For how long? Who knows? Right.
That's crazy.
But the Whiskey and the Roxy have been there since what, the 60s?
Yeah.
Same owner now.
Is it for both?
Yeah, I believe so. But the Key Club / Gazzari's is gone. House of Blues is gone.
Yep. Yeah.
The Palace is gone too.
Oh, I can't remember if we've played there. We played one of those bigger places once, the Palladium or the Palace. I can't remember.
Palladium's still there.
I just remember I saw, I think, like some celebrity walking through. It was like there's someone from Roseanne, or like I was like, oh, I recognize her from TV, and we were probably opening up for someone else. But it was that time where you like, oh, things are starting to get bigger when you're seeing Hollywood people show up for a punk show or a ska show or whatever,
Yeah. Well, especially with the waves of music and how things become trendy and whoever's hot at that point, no doubt brought a lot of exposure because of Gwen and all that. And now she's not even the same person that I used to scare the crap out of back in the old days. But it's weird watching how things ebb and flow. And like I was telling you earlier, if it wasn't for the ska scene, then I probably, with working with Short Lived and all of us, we probably wouldn't have felt comfortable enough because, we hung out with Ara from the Ninth.
Yeah.
And at the Cave. But it was a ska scene that we went to more ska shows, and we would show up in our jackets, and we were welcomed. So that gave me the confidence to keep pursuing, and then eventually ended up booking at Soma.
Yeah.
And with the ska scene, it's not like the punk scene. It's, number one, it's the musicianship. For the most part, you have to have at least that edge, where punk you can get away with bare minimum, just being able to make enough racket and have a good stage show.
Be a little looser, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the attitude.
But when you've seen over the years with the scene ebbing and flowing, has it been easier or harder? Have you even noticed it at all, like for touring or who's around? Or
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when we stopped touring at the end of 99, I mean, the writing was on the wall. The crowds were getting smaller and smaller at the same venues we were playing. And some of these venues weren't, they were like Casbah sized venues. Like, and like a year before, 6 months before you played in Buffalo, we played in Buffalo when my town was getting all the airplay. We played at a minor league stadium, opening up for like Weezer and the Goo Goo Dolls, a big radio show, Yeah. So a bunch of big acts. I think, I can't remember if Blink 182 played that one, and we're, literally in front of 10,000 people, and signing autographs as we're walking off stage took us an hour to get out of the place because everyone was shoving stuff through the fence.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow. And we come back, a year later to play a decent sized theater, and there's like no one there, and it was it just came and went. The radio lost its taste for that. It was, the swing, the neo swing thing came on the heels. It just seemed like it was like the arc of music trends was shorter and shorter, from what glam to grunge to punk, pop punk, whatever, to ska to swing. And then it was what emo and whatever else came, now it's kind of come full circle, because I think the younger, it's no longer a bad word. And there's a lot of nostalgia, and a lot of people that were 15 going to Soma are now 30, 40, and they've got money to go out at night and get a babysitter for their kids or bring their kids along. Yeah. And then there's a whole new generation of bands that weren't even alive or old enough to see that. So it's kind of like, it rears its ugly head every 10 to 15 years kind of, Yeah. But the good thing about that 90s wave was that it did put the word ska in the vernacular, so people know what it is now, basically. You know, you don't have to explain, you ever heard of Madness? You ever heard of Oingo Boingo? That one song, like, or you mean like, the Chili Peppers? No, that's not ska, but an English beat. No one's heard of that two-tone stuff.
It is funny because a lot of people don't know what ska is.
Yeah, even to this day.
Yeah. And they don't know the history that, ska basically started reggae.
Yeah, and it's funny because now you just look it up online. You can learn everything you wanted about ska in the afternoon.
Instead of picking up a book.
Yeah, or going, finding out about it from your older brother or something,
Speaking of, it's called, I think we were talking about it with Jay from Suicide Machines about the different waves of it. There's the first wave, the early movement in, what was that, the late 60s?
Yeah, I mean, I think it started very early 60s. Okay. And then through to probably 67, 68 kind of maybe.
And then now we're in what? Are they still categorizing it as like this is the third wave, or is this the fourth wave?
This would be like the fourth wave if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I haven't heard that term being thrown around but I've heard there's a kind of a collection of bands that are on the Bad Time Records label, and they some of them refer to themselves as new tone. So they're kind of, but it's not that much different than what's been done. But there's a whole crop of bands that are doing it well and getting out there and putting in the work now, like that we were. Before it in that 93, 4, 5, 6, before it really started to get mentioned in Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
alongside Rancid and Boss Tones, and then you knew, okay, that's when all the labels were like, we need a ska band.
Right.
It's like everyone had to have a grunge band, then everyone had to have a punk band, and then everyone had to have a ska band.
They got to fill all the categories. They got to cash in on every cow.
Yeah. Get your A&R guy out there and go find one.
Yeah, that's what Soma ended up being, and then I started to hate that. It was, to be completely honest, how people would come down and, I'm an A&R guy, and it's like, first it was like, okay, cool,
Now aren't those guys extinct? I don't think there's any A&R guys anymore.
It's probably
that stuff. It's kind of weird.
Someone on their iPhone going through YouTube going, here we go, that's a good band, and then sending it to someone at an office.
John was an A&R guy, right? At one time,
he was, I think, more publicity. Like he worked in publicity when he worked for Side One Dummy and that metal label.
I'm trying to remember the label.
Millennium something, I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it still exists at some level, especially at the higher up, the big labels probably still have those types of people because they fill a role, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you got to see a band live to have an idea of what you're going to possibly buy into, right? To take on as part of your catalog, or back in the day we would call it family.
Yeah,
because that's how whenever the bands would come in, it's like, okay, you're at home,
right? Yeah,
just act like this is your home and
respect it like it's
your
home.
Yeah,
and then when you're on the road, you can go and do whatever you want. You can destroy a club, but when you're here, because we would, especially with you guys, and there's a bunch of bands that could carry their own, and you would headline shows. Mm-hmm. And then when I ended up leaving, I got so out of touch, but to hear that so many bands, there's certain bands that aren't really playing anymore, but you guys have stuck it. You're still writing new music. You made it through the pandemic.
Yeah.
You didn't do stupid gimmicks to stay alive. You just stayed true to the art and keep producing amazing. We were just listening to one of the records earlier, and I'm listening going, damn, because to be honest, I was, I would listen to Venom and whatever filth and whatever garbage I was playing at the time. Mm-hmm. But the more that I listen to you guys now, it's like, damn, you guys are a really good band.
Oh, thanks.
I've really, really enjoyed it. My wife's always been a huge fan, but yeah, and to be able to not lose your edge and still keep producing at the level and keep pushing boundaries and do better.
That's the hope. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you guys are holding it down pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to hearing the next album.
Thanks. Yeah. I think if the horns come out the way they can, and I've already heard John's new scratch vocals that he just did this week to get himself ready. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be.
That's awesome.
Every band says that. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be our best album ever, but it's solid, and that there's songs on there that I think old fans will really like, and we're happy with them. We're not just. It's not phoning it in,
right?
Kind of stuff. Because if you're doing that, then you might as well just stop.
Yeah.
And we've all heard that.
And that's why it's taken so long.
Well, that's. To have the discipline to be able to take it that way. And so this get dark for a minute. Did you ever see something in the future where you're like, yeah, this is going to fall apart, we're off the rails, or any panic moments?
I think the early part of 2000, when we decided to stop touring, we had a few obligations to fulfill, like couple shows, and we had some kind of recording thing to do for something. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't label oriented. It was like, I don't even know. It might've been, we did this Japanese sunscreen commercial. We had to write a jingle for these guys, and these Japanese, executives were out in the studio in Encinitas where we did Libido at Big Fish, and they were standing there in the control room, and we did this 30-second song, and it had to have certain criteria. It has this girl's name in it. And so we had a couple of things like that to do. And then we were kind of idle, but still getting, there was a period of, I think sometime in 2000 into around 9/11 that we didn't really do anything. And we kind of even announced like I think when we played at Kane's once, we kind of said it was going to be our last show
wow.
Yeah, that we kind of, so we kind of sort of did that thing where we're, retiring, but then we just kind of went dormant. And then right after 9/11, the band got an offer to go to the UK, and John kind of started getting in touch with everyone. And that happened in November of 2001. I didn't go to that because my job at the time, I couldn't leave, but the rest of the band went over. And then after that, it was just, hey, show offer here, show offer there. Like, really? Like, it was the doldrums otherwise for ska music,
right.
That third wave stuff, especially. And, but things would just come out of the woodwork. And then our booking agent, John, met him at Punk Rock Bowling. Dave Romano, he lives out in Pittsburgh, and he's like, "Oh, I'll be your booking agent. I don't care if you guys tour a lot or not." And we're like, "Okay, cool." So he's been our booking agent for, I think, about 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
And he's a great booking agent, probably the best one we've ever had. And we're not even a full-time touring act anymore,
right.
So it's kind of ironic, but yeah, it's just, we would, you get a little antsy now, like, oh, we don't have anything on the calendar, like at least if there's something coming up 6 months from now, you have something to look forward to, like, oh yeah, we're going to play this show in June. Like, yay,
Yeah. So you still have that fire.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
obviously, I mean, you're working on the new album, because I was going to ask how you guys ended up going over, and touring outside of the States, and
yeah,
what did that the UK just open it up to where,
not really. That was kind of a one-off thing.
Okay.
We've always had a hard time trying to get over there. We were going to go over there a few years ago. We had something in the works, but we could only get a show in London that we already had set up because we know the guy. Mm-hmm. He's really into the ska punk scene over there. And then we had another show in Reading, and then we were trying to bookend the tour because it's like it's a double-edged sword. Like they don't think you're going to come over there unless you've got a bunch of stuff booked. And so no one wants to book you, but if you don't have enough stuff booked, how can you say, well, we're definitely going to come over? And it turned into this thing where like, well, we can get you on a festival in Czechoslovakia or Hungary or somewhere like that. And it was turning into this big, long trip that we couldn't afford to do because of jobs and work and businesses. Now it's like we can't just take off for a month, to
play a handful of gigs.
Yeah. And to tour around in who knows what circumstances, over there. But at the time, maybe we could this year, but at the time we couldn't. So, but we did get to go back to Japan in 2019 for our first time since the 90s, I think. And, we did, back in the day, we did Japan a couple times, and Australia and Canada. Okay. So that was exciting.
That's when Tony broke his teeth.
Yeah. The last Japan trip. Yeah. Yeah. Got hit with Dan bumped into him or something.
He slipped and hit his trumpet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
At least it was the last show.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes you cringe.
Yeah, it makes anybody cringe.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I was always thinking about, is because I got asked to go to do a European tour years and years and years ago. But I was doing two bands at the time, and realistically, I've never liked to tour. The idea of even traveling, it just, I don't like it. But the idea of being in another country and not knowing the lay of the land and just hoping that each gig is lined up right.
Yeah.
And unless you have like a team working for you, that to me would be like, I would be anxiety ridden.
Yeah, it definitely helps to have a good booking agent who knows the venues and knows the markets and takes care of the paperwork. And, because we've had the booking agent that never sent a contract back. So we showed up to clubs, and sometimes they knew we were coming because they'd worked with them before. So other places, they're like, no, we never got the contract back. We've got 3 other bands playing tonight.
Right.
And so we're sitting there with no way to even get $50 and a pizza that night, and a pitcher of beer.
Right.
So that helps a lot when you've got someone who knows the lay of the land. So, and then and do you know that things are going to generally work out okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even in the States, it's easier because you don't have to go across the pond or whatever to get back home. You can just be like, all right, well, we're doing a 14-hour drive. But it's also when you're doing those tours, did you ever play a place and then have someone say, hey, I got a party going. You guys want to come and play and to fill in spots on your tour?
A couple times. It didn't happen that often, but sometimes it did. Where there was, maybe a house party on an off night or I don't remember that happening very often though. Maybe just a couple times, to be honest, because we generally had it pretty booked.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like if it was a day off, it was because you had a 700-mile drive, across the rock, or you had to get across the Rockies, or some ridiculous drive across 4 states.
And that's where Jerry comes in with a lot of driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are always fun.
Yeah, that's hard work, especially when you got 6 or 7 guys in the back,
Wanting to party.
Yeah.
Blasting music.
So I forget, when did you start working with them? And then
2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're going back to playing parties. They get hit up to do weddings now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's where money is, though. If it's a wedding.
But I don't think you guys have never done that though, right? It's just people coming. Hey, we play our wedding.
Yeah. A long time ago we did a couple birthday parties and even some corporate gigs.
Those are always good, right?
Yeah, the gigs aren't, but the money is.
Yeah, the money's
because
good.
they'll just throw thousands at you.
Yeah,
we did one for Intel a long time ago at Princess Resorts down here, and some conference room they had all set up tiki. I didn't even know who at the time. I didn't know who we were even playing for, and a bunch of people just stand around in their khakis and drinking cocktails.
Stiffs.
Who are these guys?
Play in front of stiffs.
Yeah.
But then you got the one guy in the back going, "Yeah, I freaking love this band."
He's the one he's the one that booked the whole thing.
Yeah, one guy knows what's up. Yeah.
And he works in the mailroom.
Use the company's money to get the band to play.
Now it's different too because people like my daughter's sophomore in high school, and she told me the other day, she's like, "Hey, one of my teachers is going to go see your show in Long Beach that we got coming up," and he used to go to Soma. Back in the day.
Crazy.
And now he's a teacher, high school teacher. And, he's, probably 30 some years old, 40 years old.
Yeah.
But that era is now, they're all passing it on to their kids and whatnot.
That's supposed to be a pretty big show, right?
I hope so. Yes.
The way it looks like it's going to be big.
Yeah. I don't know how big the venue, but it's at this Gas Lamp music venue in Long Beach. Guttermouth and Bite Me Bambi and Kyle Smith and some other acts too.
Because that Gutterfest show at the Garden Grove, that was a good show.
Yeah, that was. And we're doing Ventura 2 nights before
Discovery.
That. Yeah.
Didn't you guys do? We talked about it before, Jerry, but a show where there was a bunch of bands.
Oh, that was that Hollywood show.
Oh yeah, at the music.
Nobody
school.
was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't promoted well.
Yeah. That's still, whenever I think about that, I think, how could...
It was like 12 bands, like 25 people showed up.
Yeah, because the people who organized it were from Japan. The bands we had played with in Japan at this big festival out there that had like 10, 20,000 people at it. And their version of huge ska and punk bands headlining it. And so they tried to do the same thing over here, but it just didn't, translate well because I
think they only promoted it on Facebook.
Yeah, and I mean the people don't pay attention to Japanese bands over here that much. I'm guessing, maybe in certain genres they do, but
and it wasn't at a real venue.
Much.
That was the other thing. It was a school.
Yeah, it should have been at a club.
Because the club would have promoted it,
Yeah, if it was at the Whiskey or Roxy, it would have been fine. But it was at some music school. It was a nice facility, but
held 2,000 people. Yeah. But 2,000 people didn't show up.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. If you're trying to establish a new place,
well, this is just it wasn't even a new place. It's just it's like a school for the arts where they learn how to do sound, that kind of stuff.
And there was no flyers up there.
I don't think they put anything out.
I don't know how they.
Wow.
I don't even know.
This was just weird because you had bands like Pulley, you had U.S. Bombs, you had Guttermouth. I mean, there was a lot of well-known bands on that bill, and just nobody showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a loaded bill. If you have,
and it was a Saturday, you'd think people would show up.
Yeah.
That
was weird.
Or at least the students.
I think I think they were working.
They were working selling the snack bar. They're working the snack bar
and they were doing, and they also had a tattoo thing set up too. They were doing tattoos.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
That's showbiz,
Yeah,
hit and miss.
Well, I've had there's been a few shows at Metro. The one that stunk to high heaven was which is funny because I used to call him Stinkfinger, but Goldfinger played, and I got a world of shit from, who was it? John was a singer of that band.
Yeah, John still is.
Came up and was just like yelling at me, where's all the fucking people? Where's Len? And what the fuck are you doing here? I said, I'm the one that fucking booked you.
What show? Where was that at?
It was just one of those.
Was that at the downtown when they?
No, it was Metro.
Because Goldfinger didn't start until the mid '90s, I believe.
Yeah. And it was one of those during Christmas break. Up to
Goldfinger headlined it.
It was on the side stage.
I don't remember.
And it was not a very well attended show because those shows weren't really well attended anyways. And I booked everything. He was just pissed that Len wasn't there, and I don't know what else was on his mind, but that just really bummed me out because those shows were just kind of filling in things anyways.
Was it a weekday show?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably what it was.
And but people would show up because because
we did those couple shows with Goldfinger, Suicide Machines.
Yeah,
those shows were good shows.
They, for the most part, this might have been in the earlier days because and another thing, he was pissed that they weren't playing the main stage, but there was no one there to see them. The local bands.
San Diego was weird back then because the local bands would do better than some of the touring acts, unless you were like NoFX or Slayer or Bad Religion or Circle Jerks, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But some of the bands like a Face to Face or Voodoo Glow Skulls or some of those bands, I think, that weren't quite where they were going to be. People, it wasn't quite the same. Like, oh, you just go in there and 1,000 people are going to show up.
But see, that's what was good with San Diego because the people stood behind the local bands.
Yeah.
And there was literally hundreds of bands. I've talked about this many times. There was so much talent. And when you put it in that perspective, out of how many other bands there were in San Diego, there was just a group of, maybe a dozen that did really, really well that you guys were, you could headline your own show in a drop of a hat. I mean, we could announce it a week before and it would be packed.
Yeah, it was crazy back then.
But San Diego, supported their bands big time.
Yeah.
But then, they kind of helped launch, but then you guys still have to have everything again, the talent and the drive to take it outside of San Diego.
Yes.
So, did you ever run into that in any other towns where people were just kind of like, who the hell are you? But there was a headliner that.
Oh yeah. All the time. The first, especially the first couple years. I mean, even when, because the first tour we did with Gangster Fun and MU330, Gangster Fun was older. They were kind 80s, of the in between 80s. Second and third wave band. People knew who they were, and the crowds that were coming to see ska back then were slightly older, and they had no interest in anything that was going to be third wave.
Right?
It was like, who are these idiots? They wanted to hear proper two-tone or traditional ska usually, or we went on tour with Agent Orange, and some of those shows were good, and some of it, you're just playing in front of a bunch of old punks who don't give two shits about you because you're just kids. They're here to see their old heroes, and they're all older and jaded. And that was a tough thing early in the early days for us, because just like with Spy Kids, a lot of the people that were into ska were older and jaded and kind of fading out, and there wasn't a new crew or a new group of people, and though even those they wanted to hear traditional ska more,
right.
And so third wave, quote unquote, hadn't really established itself yet. It was just, the Operation Ivy record, the Boss Tones were starting to make waves, Voodoo Glow Skulls, And then I think on the heels of that were, was like Real Big Fish, Say Ferris, us, Suicide Machines, and some of the Mustard Plug and that. But that didn't really kick in until, 96, 97 was when that really heated up, But before that, it was a mixed bag. You could play a random show in Wisconsin that would go off in a small town, because I remember we played a Slapstick on the first tour there. That was my first time seeing them, and they were doing what we were doing, more punk, but ska punk. And that's the band that begat like Alkaline Trio and some other bands, eventually, because they kind of split up before they had a really chance to make it, but they influenced everyone. And then the next venue you're playing is a bar in a college town, and no one, they don't know, they don't care, they're not.
It's a live jukebox sort of thing happening.
Yeah, or or you're playing college towns in the middle of summer. Like, where is everyone?
Right.
In the fall, this place is packed every night.
Yeah.
And then you go in the fall. Oh, it's midterms are tomorrow. That's why no one's here. You're like, what? Finals are next week. That's why no one's coming out. You're like, geez,
more excuses than people.
So going back to like people not knowing who they are, this was just recently was the Mad Caddies tour.
Yeah.
Hermosa Beach. A lot of people there never heard of Bucko 9, which is crazy. Like they're stuck in their own little town, and they only know the bands that are from that town.
Right.
It was weird.
Yeah, and we call ourselves semi-retired now for the last 20 years or so. So we don't push social media and things like that like some of these bands do that are they're making videos every other week, and they're releasing music more frequently, and they're younger and more in tune with TikTok and all that kind of stuff. And they're, I see them all the times. I follow them on Instagram. I'm like, geez, we're lazy compared to these people.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, oh, here's an old flyer from a show, or when we go out on the road, then we get some more content.
Well, also what's crazy, like Mustard Plug, they don't stop touring.
Yeah.
And they all have jobs too.
Yeah. They just make it work, And
they just put out an album on Bad Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands that I think will get to the point where, you're talking about one gig will be great. The next one's, there's no one there. Even the crickets have left.
Yeah.
And then they take that and they let that influence their drive to play.
Right.
And then they break up, or I'm having a kid, and they find an excuse to just kind of drop it.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a bummer for the fans. And also, there's, we're all, no one here's a spring chicken. No offense.
Right. No.
I mean, I know I look great, but no, when, with me working with the Left Outs and starting to do this, I have this new drive because I feel comfortable where I'm at. I feel like I've, finally laid down the foundation.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go on the road and try to make a living out of it.
Right.
But, all these setbacks that you can run into make it harder the older you get. So if you can call it, semi-retired, but you're still writing music and you're still playing shows, and the energy for those who have not seen you, that are listening to us, who have not seen you live, the energy's on stage. It's there. I mean, there's nothing lost. Yeah. If anything, I
think he's just, Craig's saying that he's the band semi-retired because they're not touring constantly.
Yeah. But there's no reason for that. I mean, if you're touring constantly, then
there's got to be. The thing is, touring constantly, there has to be money.
Exactly. You have to earn a living.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd have to. If we were to do that at this point, we'd have to commit to just traveling around the world 300 plus days a year.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to make that work.
And go back to not having any sort of a life.
Yeah, it'd be a big sacrifice for everyone.
But you got families, you got kids.
Because then not only that, when the money stops coming in, you got to start your career all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go and be a Walmart greeter, and people go, "Oh, I remember you from Bucko 9."
Yeah, I'm still in that.
Underwear's on aisle 9.
And here's a flyer for our show next week.
Automotive, you'll find on aisle 10. There's a deal on milk and eggs today. And, we have our new CD.
Yeah, get it on all streaming platforms.
Yeah, that's killed a lot, too. I mean, like the labels, I still prefer vinyl. There's nothing like that for me. I jumped on the CD gig. We have a bunch of CDs. V even has her stuff on MP3 and all that. But I mean, I can go on Spotify and listen to something every now and again. I will.
Yeah.
I prefer being in my kitchen, making dinner, or whatever, and playing vinyl. Yeah. And then V will get up, and then she might get on the drums and play a little bit. Then I'm in there playing a little bit.
Nice.
And once these kids start really realizing, I mean, there's a resurgence of vinyl.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
thank God people like you guys are still putting out the vinyl, because once you hear vinyl and get that ambiance.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the label too, because I don't think every label wants to put vinyl.
Right. It's got to be cost effective.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
No, because we're going to do a split with our drummer's other band so that I can finally have a record out. But yeah, it's not cheap. But once the demand is there, if we can balance it out to where they can get their money, but bring the prices down. But we all know how inflation is, and
right.
Yeah. And actually, when we're touring, we've always sold out of the vinyl.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's there's that nostalgia for it. It's more tactile. It's a bigger piece of art.
Yep.
It's
don't need
better
reading
for
glasses.
the autographs too, because people
Yeah.
like to get their vinyl autograph.
Yeah, you can frame it, put it on your wall.
Yep.
If you want.
Yeah. Pull out the sleeve, and like with the Crass records, I still have them in poster form, because I would just take them out. I would put up the one side. Maybe a few months later, a year later, flip it over to the other side. I just always loved all the artwork that you get on a record.
Yeah, yeah.
And then plus, back in the early days, you look at a record and you go, oh, so that's what they look like.
Right, yeah.
Man, they look neat.
Yeah. I got to get my pants tapered like that guy. Or sometimes there'd be a collage with flyers and photos, and you see people,
and find other bands, who they're thinking.
Oh,
oh, look, it's Pugsley, the podcast dog, coming to say hello. But speaking, I know you got a gig going. Is there a song that we can listen to right now? Is there something that you want to promote, or anything new going on? What new, other than got any shows coming up that you want to promote?
Yeah, we got kind of a lot. We're doing April 18th Ventura with Guttermouth. The 19th is Tempe with Bite Me Bambi, and then the 20th, April 20th, is that show in Long Beach with Guttermouth and Bite Me Bambi and Kyle Smith. He's like kind of a solo reggae, kind of SoCal reggae kind of vibe. And then Memorial Day weekend, we're doing the club show in Vegas with Suicide Machines.
Oh, and
So that'll be fun. And then what else? I think in August we're going to be playing some kind of city festival thing in San Clemente. I think that's been confirmed. That should be fun because it'll be one of those free outdoor kind of
like
is it going to be like a beach show, like Back to the Beach or something?
I don't know. It's just a city thing they do every year. Like I think the Agrolites played it last year.
Kind of like the Rolando Street Fair, that kind of deal.
Yeah. Several city blocks or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old street scene.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Those
were other fun gigs. Yeah. And I think we might have something come up in November, but that's not close to being set yet. So, it's surprisingly enough, it's like things keep popping up, and one way or another, we get to keep doing it, which is we're really fortunate. I mean, to still be here doing it, especially with still the core of the group intact. So,
yeah, but you guys have definitely earned it. And like I said, the stage show, if anything, it's got more energy, and it's really fun watch.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Some of us don't move the way we used to, but we still try to.
The energy's there.
Yeah. It's the feeling is still there. It's still that same feeling. I think, when I see those older bands like the Stones or Paul McCartney and those guys getting out there, I wonder how they can do it. And then I think, well, if you're lucky enough to have decent health, you just don't lose that feeling. It still has that same ability to bring you up, And then afterwards you're sore for 3 days and you're dehydrated and trying to.
It's just, speaking of skating, it's just like if you go and have a really good session, say you're just skating the curb for an hour. And then a week later, you're still thinking, yeah, that was a rad session.
Yeah.
But your knees feel like rubber.
Yeah.
Like if I get up too quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the ice bath? Where's the hot tub?
Yeah. You ever done that, taking an ice bath?
No.
Oh, man. The idea of jumping in something that cold just does not appeal to me whatsoever. But actually, after, when I was still playing, there's days where the next morning, my neck, for whatever reason, I'm not sitting there headbanging, but my neck just felt like, I had been headbanging to freaking Black Sabbath for an hour and a half.
Yeah. I get that too because of that and having the sax strapped on. I used to have it around my neck. I have kind of a sling strap now, but that same thing, we're like, oh, my neck is so sore. And
the little reminders that you're old.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh, how can I don't know if I could do this for 6 weeks at a time anymore.
But then you get into autopilot and then you just do it.
Yeah. We used to jokingly call it robot mode. When, when you're 16 days in a row in on a 5-week tour and you're waiting for that day off, just so you can, it's not that you don't want to do it, but you just want that one night to where you just like, oh, I don't have to get up and do that, and get in that mentality. And, but then you're clicking so much that it's kind of fun actually, because then you're looking at the crowd and you're seeing stuff and you're not just I'm usually focused on my mic stand. Just don't fuck up, just play the notes, get them out. Where's your sax on the mic? And then once you get going, then you're like, oh, look at these people jump stage dive or crowd surfing. And oh, look at that guy. It looks like he's had too much to drink and they're pulling him off, whatever, and you can start.
Remember back in the day when you were constantly touring and then you had that day off, those days seemed like they lasted forever, super long.
Yeah. You just want to, lie in bed all day and just watch I don't know, Jerry Springer back then or something.
Yeah. Or watch the performance from the night before for a few minutes and you get that energy rush. And then it's like, okay, what's Oprah doing? Yeah. Or,
and just the feeling of, oh, we don't have to move. We don't have to travel today. That's, we get to be stationary, right? Because that constant moving is a little unsettling sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're, every bump, you're like, oh, are we going to crash? Are we going to, did the driver fall asleep? Why are we hitting the rumble strip?
Jerry.
I still think the worst day was that 2-hour stop in Iowa before you drive into.
Oh yeah, from Omaha to Chicago, and we got 2 hours in a motel just to nap and shower, and then back.
Keep on driving to Chicago.
Yeah,
and then we played 2 gigs
back to back.
Yeah, the afternoon gig with the Boston, then we did like a later gig at a club, and everyone was sleeping
at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, that was the roughest travel we've done in a long time.
Yeah, that has to be, that takes the cake, I think, for all my touring. I think that takes the cake.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Yeah.
And then Andy ate it on the stage, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, fucked up his knee.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys you would rent the RV, right? Did you ever?
Yeah, we had we had a van.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, because we flew to Denver. Yeah.
We had like a transit van that we were in.
Yeah.
And those are rough.
No, actually, those are all right. The seats aren't so comfortable.
Yeah, you can't lay down like a bench seat like in an old school 15-passenger van.
I mean, for driving wise, that's easier to drive than an RV.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I didn't even I drove whatever a big was it like a 350 or something back when I was doing tile and with dualies, and that compared to like just my F-150. Was a world of difference. And just driving locally, I'm like, oh man, this thing sucks. But I've never driven an RV, which to me is just nerve wracking.
You definitely have to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
you have to commit.
Yeah, because it takes up the full lane.
Yeah.
You just got to be cognizant of your side mirrors and when you're up front driving, it's like, oh, this drives like a van because it's kind of like a big truck van. But the people in the back are like, can you slow down? And you're like, what? No problem. Like this, I'm fine. I'm on the brake. I'm on the gas. I know we're good. And everyone in the back is sitting there going, whoa, like slow. So you have to just force yourself to like slow
Trust
down.
the
and
driver.
take those
That or you
curves
hit
nice
a
and
bump
slow.
and somebody goes flying off the
Yeah.
on the bed.
Spills their drink, and then a beer can comes up front.
Slides down. Yeah, it's still better than being in a van, though. I mean, nothing compares to a tour bus, but those are so expensive to
Oh yeah,
travel in.
$1,000 a day.
You got to be committed for that.
Gotta have money.
yeah. Someone's got to have money for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But one way or another, as long as you're getting out there and doing it, I mean, no matter if you love what you're doing, it's, you find the good things in whatever it is, and then you can brush off all the bad. Because the whatever the word I'm looking for, but the alternative to not being in a van touring is to be at home wishing you had somewhere to go and play.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where I'm like, the idea of just sitting here playing and, have little jams here at my house drove me to like, okay, I'm going to commit. I'm going to, I'm going to make changes in my lifestyle to drive to practice in traffic, uphill, in the snow, barefoot,
Yeah.
which I was so used to not doing because I'd go to work and I'd come home and just, whatever, everything's on my time. But now I'm like, no, I'll go and practice.
Right. Yeah.
I don't mind. I'll stress out on a certain line of a lyric and like, that just doesn't fit. I want all that.
Yeah.
Because I want to be playing music again so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as long as the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah. And I think that's a common thread amongst, many types of artists, right? Actors, comedians.
Yeah.
It's your memory tends to block out some of the, the long, boring, whatever times for, and you just remember the show, the being on stage part, or the good,
Yeah.
It's,
The camaraderie and
yeah.
the energy.
Well, it's like every time we go on the road, it's a little adventure, and we're getting away from,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
the regular day-to-day life.
yeah. And I mean, I think every band would say this almost every day. There's like what you call a Spinal Tap moment where something weird happens, and it's almost right out of that movie,
Yeah.
or a variation on something that happened in that film.
Yeah.
And, whether it's the marquee spelling your name wrong or getting lost in the venue kind of thing. You're like, where's the stage? all those little things, or just everything
Drummer
that can go wrong.
implodes.
Yeah. Yeah. First day on the trip, and you narrowly avoid a 20-car pileup or something, or you see some crazy shit happening as you're going down the street with, and you're like, oh my gosh, we've only been on the road for a few hours and we've already had so many weird experiences that you wouldn't get if you're just at home.
Kind of like Seattle with those guys wasted in the street, and the ambulance had to come and pull the guys out of the road. Yeah. Covered them up.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy was buying us shots during the show, and then after the show, looked like he was a dead body, and the ambulance showed up, put a foil blanket on him, and make sure he was okay. And they had to move on to more serious issues, like heroin overdoses, and they just let him sleep. And we were leaving, we're like, hey dude, you okay? And he's like, and then the next day,
younger guys,
he mentioned it on Facebook. He's all, yeah, that was me, I'm okay. We're like, all right.
I'll get you guys shots next time you're in town. Maybe I won't drink as many.
Yeah.
The band drinking people under the table that
happens a lot.
Their age.
People try to keep up with us sometimes, and they end up in a bad state.
Well, that's another reason why you guys are seasoned. Yeah, because you know, and you can drink them under the table, and then go up and perform.
Yeah,
and then continue to drink them under the table. No, we've heard some of the antics for sure, but I mean that's all. I mean, I'll admit, for not wanting to go on the road and tour, I'm jealous and a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, my anxiety of traveling, I just don't like to travel.
Yeah, it gets harder. And I mean, I think it gets more like, I don't like to fly anymore. I used to love flying because, we're flying to San Jose for this big show. And then someone's flying us to Kansas City for all these radio shows, or we're flying here, Australia. This is it,
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's not as, traveling isn't the same.
Especially with COVID. or
Yeah,
a
and
mask.
it's
You want
post
a mask.
9/11 world. You know,
Yeah, you never
gotta
know.
take all your shoes off and all that crap, and everyone's stressed, and you just you figure, well, how many times till my luck runs out?
And then we've had some booking issues with the plane, or the airlines issues with stuff not being right.
But at the same time, it's like there's an adventure to be had, so it's both, and I agree with you. The alternative to not being able to do it is not something I want to see happen anytime soon,
right?
If possible, but
right,
because it's just something liberating about. Like you're in the middle of the desert, you pull over to use a rest stop, and you're standing there under the stars. Just maybe just going, wow, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for this.
Speaking of the desert and the roadside tables, that's something that I used to joke with Face to Face about. But I remember that from a little kid. But whenever I'm in the desert for whatever, I've gone on a skate trip, and I used to go out to Parker and do tile for a contractor I knew. But just that desert area, and then looking up, and there's no light pollution. You're just like, I'm literally a tiny speck in this universe. And it's so humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going out to do any music or anything, but I've always had this idea of being in the middle of the desert at night playing and just looking up and being like, yeah, if you could hear this, you would like this freaking song, whoever you are up there.
Yeah.
But
all that traveling, you get to see what a big place the country and the world really is, And
it's kind of cool.
Change your perspective a bit.
It's kind of cool, all of us, like camaraderie,
Yeah.
Like we're all hanging out, we're in a different place, meeting different people.
Yeah.
That's another thing with traveling.
Yeah.
Or touring, I should say.
That's all the parts that I get jealous about. Because I loved it whenever and we would go up to LA and do certain gigs, and just, I mean, you're doing your art, and you got these people that before even seeing you play, either they kind of know, or like with you guys, they know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
But they're in the moment the whole time. And just that energy and feeding off all that, and you're there because of an art that you do.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And you have to keep in mind that this is their, especially now, okay, maybe it is a Friday or Saturday night. It's their night. They've Ubered it there. They're spending $15 on a beer. They got a babysitter for the kids.
Yeah.
This is their night out, and they chose to go see you, or whatever, because that was a challenging thing. Sometimes you're on the road and you're like, it's a Tuesday night, it's a Wednesday night, it's a Thursday night. But for the people that showed up in Podunk, Midwest town, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so you have to always be aware, keep that in your mind so you don't phone it in or take it for granted or just go, what are we doing here? And then people are like, thank you for coming here. No one ever plays in this place, and you're like, all right, well, glad we're here,
Yeah.
So,
and you're part of that memory with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's like on the Facebook page, you got people hitting you up going, hey, when are you going to play this town? When are you going to play that town?
Yeah.
When are you coming out here?
Yeah. Can't answer all of them, but sometimes people take it personally. It's like when we played Colorado Springs, someone was mad we didn't play Denver. I'm like, well, it's not because we don't want to play Denver.
It wasn't a tour. It was a one-off.
Yeah. It's like, I explained it to that person because they seemed like they were pretty upset. So I think they were happy with my answer. But people think, why don't you come here? It's like, well, if we can, we will.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to the East Coast these days for us because getting there and getting back is the big part of it,
Right.
And the last time the East Coast, well, other than the cruise, was the Supernova.
Yeah, in Virginia. Yeah. And we did the Rhode Island one a few years ago at the Boss Tones. Those are fly-ins, and you can't just, okay, you want to fly us in to New York City? That's 7 plane tickets.
Hotel.
And la. We're not a band that commands that kind of budget,
Right.
So it would have to be an East Coast tour. And how do you get to the East Coast? Do you rent? Do you fly, rent, whatever? Can you book any shows? Because the regions have their own, particularities too.
Right.
Even though the internet's there, it's like you don't just show up to, Richmond, Virginia, and play a club and expect, 200 people are going to show up.
Right.
But
The other thing, like with Supernova, they played once, but we were there 3 days, and I was selling merch for 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
So, making some money.
Yeah. I mean, anyone that has their own business, and it is essentially your own business, you have to look at it that way that, it's got to be cost effective. If you can play a festival, but then represent for those times to make that kind of money, then it allows you to be a little bit more relaxed. And then an opportunity might come up where, oh, well, you guys want to come and play with, so-and-so, we could use a couple extra horns or come and do guest vocals. And you can be in those situations if you have your basics covered so that you can get those opportunities.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is always fun, especially when you're established. Then someone might be like, hey, come up and play the song with us. We're going to do an Op Ivy song. Well, I know that freaking song. Well, then come up and, it just makes it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah. Those opportunities are somewhat rare, but they're awesome when they happen, and with the horns, we've been able to do that a few times, jump on stage with different bands and do a song or two. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we'll let you get out of here, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Jerry, what's going to play us out here? And what I want to do, I'm going to promote that we sat and chatted, and I'll get the list of the gigs that you're coming up so that I can post them on my social medias.
Oh, cool.
And then with the podcast, so we'll get in advance of that. Depending on when the podcast comes out, but at least I'll have something to promote.
Oh, awesome.
And help get that out for you guys. And of course, I'll tag the band and you and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll share it, of course, too. Yeah, thanks.
And
do skeletons off.
Fundamental.
Yeah, something a bit newer. That's the other challenge is trying to play new stuff for people, and they haven't heard it, and they want to hear the old stuff.
Yeah,
and which we like playing, but it's trying to work some of that new stuff in, so you're not just the rerun show. That's one of the things we did back when we did the Sustain album was, how long can we keep playing Barfly and My Town and Round Kid, and it's like let's try to have something new.
That's another one of the arts that some of the people that aren't really privy to this knowledge is when you have certain hits, you will play those. Sometimes it'll be in an encore where you play your biggest hit. Mm-hmm. So you kind of sprinkle in the new stuff with the familiar stuff, and you slowly rotate through the years, but give them the hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you're not a one-hit wonder or a commercial band that I can think of a few, but I won't name drop right now because the people will get pissed at me. But that have to, all they do is go up and play one or two hits that everyone knows, and then they do the rest of their set. They might have, 3 or 4 albums out, but if the people only know 2 songs, the minute they play those 2 songs, then people are going, okay, where's the bathroom? I got to text someone. I'm going to check my Instagram. And you're doing a whole set, and people only paid attention to 2 songs.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the art of keeping people's attention as well.
Yeah, and I think I would assume that for part of it, especially with certain genres, you like your favorite music is probably the stuff that you got exposed to when you were a teenager into your 20s, right? And it strikes a chord,
right?
That adolescence time. And so when you go see that legacy band, you want to hear those songs that you heard in 8th grade or 12th grade or whatever, and maybe you're not going to give the band's new stuff a chance. And it's always hard to strike, that lightning in a bottle, when you're a certain age, with a certain energy and a certain vibe, it's like you're chasing that dragon trying to do another, 28 Teeth or another My Town. So, you just do your best and hope that people don't think it sucks, I guess.
Yeah. True.
Very true.
We ready, Jerry?
Hell yeah. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
From the up the band's plan. There goes life, floating down the river. Yeah, there goes life, coming up the shore. Cause we're skeletons, skeletons, skeletons fighting a war. Oh, so get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Well, I'm changing, gonna put it all aside, rearranging what's asleep inside. Well, I'm done with all those skeletons of mine. As a warning, I'm at the halfway line. Hey, gonna kick it out like a shoulder gun master. Hauling down the street, I've never gone faster. Drinking it, I'm loving everywhere I've been. So it feels good to play that music again, yeah. There goes life, floating down the river. There goes life, coming up the shore. Cause we're skeletons, skeletons, skeletons fighting a war. Oh, so get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go. Get up, get up, get up, and let's go.
This podcast was recorded at Red Rum Skates. Mixed by me, Jer. Music provided by Breakacre. We appreciate all our listeners and our guests. Please stay tuned until the next one. Have a great one. Bye.